Drive, The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us by Daniel H. Pink. In Drive, The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us, Daniel H. Pink dismantles outdated notions of motivation that dominate workplaces and educational systems. He exposes the limitations of traditional carrot-and-stick methods and introduces a framework for understanding what truly drives human behavior in the 21st century. Grounded in behavioral science and real-world examples, Pink explores how autonomy, mastery, and purpose outshine external rewards when it comes to inspiring sustained effort and innovation. This book challenges you to rethink how you approach motivation in your own life and with those you lead. Whether you are managing a team, teaching a classroom, or striving for personal fulfillment, Pink delivers a clear roadmap for tapping into intrinsic motivation to unleash potential and achieve meaningful results. The principles in this book are not theoretical, they are practical tools for transforming how you think about work, learning, and success. Lesson 1. Redefine motivation. Daniel Pink begins by challenging the long-held assumption that external rewards and punishments are the primary drivers of human behavior. He points to the classic candle problem experiment by Carl Duncker, which vividly illustrates how monetary incentives can actually hinder performance on tasks requiring creativity and problem-solving. In this experiment, participants were asked to attach a candle to a wall using only a box of thumbtacks and a few other items. When monetary rewards were introduced as incentives, participants performed worse, as the focus on the reward narrowed their thinking and stifled innovative solutions. The findings reveal a fundamental flaw in the traditional carrot-and-stick approach to motivation. While it may work for routine, mechanical tasks, it is counterproductive for activities requiring cognitive flexibility and creativity. Pink's insights align with Edward Dici's self-determination theory, which emphasizes that intrinsic motivators, factors like autonomy, competence, and relatedness, are far more effective at driving sustained engagement and innovation. Dici's research demonstrates that people perform at their best when they feel a sense of ownership over their work, believe in their ability to excel, and feel connected to a larger purpose. These intrinsic motivators tap into deeper psychological needs, fueling creativity and commitment in ways external rewards simply cannot. To redefine motivation, you must first reject the outdated model of if-then rewards for tasks that require creative problem-solving. This model operates on the assumption that external incentives, bonuses, promotions, or penalties are sufficient to drive performance. While such incentives may produce short-term compliance, they fail to foster the intrinsic drive necessary for long-term success. Pink warns that relying on these methods in creative environments can lead to disengagement, reduced innovation, and a transactional mindset that undermines deeper engagement. Consider the example of Google's famed 20% time policy, which allowed employees to dedicate a portion of their workweek to passion projects unrelated to their core job responsibilities. This policy, rooted in the principle of autonomy, led to the creation of groundbreaking innovations like Gmail and Google Maps. By giving employees the freedom to explore their interests, Google tapped into their intrinsic motivation, unlocking a level of creativity that traditional reward structures could never achieve. The success of this approach highlights the transformative power of designing environments where autonomy and curiosity can thrive. Autonomy is a cornerstone of intrinsic motivation. People are naturally more engaged when they feel a sense of control over their work. This doesn't mean abandoning structure, but rather providing individuals with the freedom to make meaningful decisions within a clear framework. Leaders who foster autonomy empower their teams to take ownership of their tasks, leading to greater satisfaction, commitment, and innovation. Encouraging exploration and granting flexibility signals trust. which in turn cultivates a stronger sense of responsibility and pride in the work. Competence, another pillar of intrinsic motivation, is about creating opportunities for growth and mastery. People are most motivated when they see their skills improving and feel that their contributions matter. As a leader, you must ensure that your team has the tools, resources, and support to excel. Celebrate progress, provide constructive feedback, and challenge people with tasks that stretch their abilities without overwhelming them. When individuals feel competent, they are more likely to approach challenges with curiosity and determination. Relatedness, the final element of DC's theory, highlights the importance of connection and purpose. People are driven by a desire to contribute to something greater than themselves. Pink underscores the need to create environments where individuals feel a sense of belonging and alignment with the organization's mission. When people see how their work contributes to a larger goal, they are more likely to engage deeply and consistently. Redefining motivation requires a shift in perspective. Stop viewing rewards and punishments as the primary levers for driving performance. Instead, design environments that prioritize autonomy, competence, and relatedness, encourage exploration, support growth, and align work with meaningful purposes. When you foster intrinsic motivation, you unlock the creativity, resilience, and innovation that drive extraordinary results. Motivation isn't something you impose, it's something you inspire by creating the right conditions. Lesson 2. Foster autonomy. Autonomy is not about doing whatever you want. It's about having control over how you approach your work. Daniel Pink emphasizes that the freedom to choose how tasks are completed fosters creativity, engagement, and innovation. He illustrates this with the story of Atlassian, a software company that introduced FedEx Days, giving employees 24 hours to work on any project they choose, as long as they deliver results by the end of the period. This practice led to transformative breakthroughs in the company's products, showcasing the power of autonomy in unlocking untapped potential. By granting employees the freedom to pursue their ideas, Atlassian created an environment where innovation thrived. Google's famous 20% time policy offers another compelling example of autonomy in action. By allowing employees to dedicate a portion of their work week to passion projects, Google fostered a culture of creativity that led to the development of game-changing innovations like Gmail and Google Maps. These breakthroughs weren't the result of top-down directives, but of individuals taking ownership of their work, exploring ideas they were passionate about, and finding personal meaning in what they created. Google's success highlights the transformative impact of autonomy when aligned with purpose and organizational goals. Pink's insights echo lessons from Start With Why by Simon Sinek, which underscores the power of purpose-driven autonomy. Sinek argues that people are most inspired and committed when they understand the why behind their work. When individuals connect with a larger purpose, their motivation goes beyond external rewards or compliance. They become intrinsically driven to contribute, innovate, and excel. Purpose gives autonomy direction, ensuring that freedom doesn't devolve into aimlessness but becomes a catalyst for meaningful achievement. To foster autonomy effectively, you must create opportunities for yourself and your team to take ownership of projects. Ownership is the cornerstone of autonomy. When people feel a sense of responsibility for their work, they invest more deeply in its success. This doesn't mean abandoning structure or oversight. It means providing a framework where individuals have the freedom to make decisions and solve problems in their own way. As a leader, your role is to set clear objectives and outcomes while allowing your team to determine the best path to achieve them. Autonomy also requires a culture that values experimentation and embraces the possibility of failure. Pink emphasizes that innovation cannot flourish in environments where fear of mistakes stifles creativity. Encourage your team to test new ideas, take calculated risks, and learn from setbacks. When people feel safe to experiment, they are more likely to discover breakthroughs that drive progress. This sense of freedom is not just about what they do, it's about how they do it, giving them the space to bring their unique strengths and perspectives to the table. Finding personal meaning in work is another critical component of autonomy. People are most motivated when they see how their efforts contribute to something larger than themselves. Connect your team's tasks to the organization's mission and values, showing them the impact of their contributions. This alignment between individual goals and organizational purpose fosters a sense of pride and commitment that fuels sustained engagement. Autonomy becomes not just about freedom, but about doing work that matters. Consider the example of Tesla, where teams are empowered to take bold risks in pursuit of the company's mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Tesla's culture of autonomy encourages employees to challenge conventions, push boundaries, and find innovative solutions to complex problems. This autonomy, paired with a clear sense of purpose, has enabled Tesla to remain at the forefront of the electric vehicle and renewable energy industries. To foster autonomy, start by trusting your team. Provide them with the tools, resources, and guidance they need. Then step back and let them take the lead. Encourage experimentation. Celebrate successes and learn from failures. Align autonomy with purpose by connecting individual work to larger organizational goals. When people feel trusted, valued, and aligned with a mission, they don't just complete tasks, they transform them into opportunities for growth and innovation. Autonomy isn't about removing boundaries, it's about empowering people to define how they achieve excellence. Lesson 3. Pursue mastery. Mastery is the pursuit of continuous improvement and the joy of becoming better at something meaningful. Daniel Pink emphasizes that mastery isn't about reaching a final destination, but embracing the process of growth and refinement. He highlights Yo-Yo Ma as a quintessential example of this drive, renowned not just for his technical brilliance, but for his passion for exploring the boundaries of his craft. Ma embodies the mindset of mastery. He continually pushes himself to innovate, experiment, and expand his musical horizons. His dedication to growth is a reminder that mastery is fueled by an insatiable curiosity and a willingness to embrace challenges. The pursuit of mastery is deeply rooted in deliberate practice, a concept explored in Peak by Anders Ericsson. Deliberate practice goes beyond repetition. It involves intentional effort aimed at improving specific aspects of performance. Ericsson explains that mastery requires setting clear goals, seeking immediate feedback, and systematically pushing oneself out of the comfort zone. This disciplined approach to practice distinguishes true mastery from mere competence. It's not enough to work hard. You must work smart, focusing on refining weaknesses and developing new skills. Mastery emerges when you combine consistent effort with a strategic approach to improvement. To cultivate mastery, you must adopt a mindset that embraces challenges and views setbacks as opportunities to learn. Obstacles are not barriers. They are stepping stones on the path to growth. Pink emphasizes that mastery requires resilience, patience, and a commitment to the process, even when progress feels slow or difficult. The journey toward mastery is marked by peaks and plateaus, and it's during the plateaus that your dedication is truly tested. Those who persevere through these periods of stagnation emerge stronger, more skilled, and more confident in their abilities. Consider the story of Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes in history. Her mastery of tennis is not just the result of raw talent, but of decades of deliberate practice and an unrelenting drive to improve. Williams has repeatedly reinvented her game, adapting her strategy and technique to stay at the top of her sport. Her ability to analyze her performance, seek feedback, and refine her skills exemplifies the essence of mastery. Even after achieving monumental success, she continues to approach her craft with the same passion and determination that fueled her early career. Mastery also demands setting clear goals and breaking them into manageable steps. Pink stresses the importance of defining what success looks like and creating a roadmap to achieve it. Vague aspirations lead to frustration, but specific, actionable objectives provide clarity and motivation. Each small step forward builds momentum, reinforcing your commitment to the larger goal. This incremental progress is where the satisfaction of mastery resides, not in a single achievement, but in the accumulation of small victories over time. Feedback is another essential component of mastery. Constructive feedback illuminates blind spots and provides guidance for improvement. Pink underscores that seeking feedback requires humility and a willingness to confront weaknesses. But it's this vulnerability that unlocks growth. Surround yourself with mentors, peers, and coaches who challenge you to be better and provide insights that elevate your performance. Feedback is not criticism, it is a gift that accelerates your journey toward mastery. Mastery is not about perfection, it is about progress. The joy of mastery lies in the satisfaction of ongoing growth, in knowing that you are better today than you were yesterday. It's about finding meaning in the pursuit itself, not just the outcome. Pink reminds us that mastery is a lifelong endeavor, a commitment to continually pushing the boundaries of what you can achieve. Whether you're an artist, athlete, or entrepreneur, the pursuit of mastery transforms your work from a task to a passion, from an obligation to a source of fulfillment. To pursue mastery, set clear goals, embrace deliberate practice, and approach challenges with curiosity and resilience. Break your aspirations into actionable steps. Seek feedback, and celebrate incremental progress. Mastery isn't reserved for the extraordinarily gifted. It's available to anyone willing to commit to the process of continuous improvement. By focusing on growth rather than perfection, you unlock the deeper satisfaction of becoming the best version of yourself. Lesson 4. Cultivate purpose. Purpose is the desire to contribute to something larger than yourself, a force that gives meaning to your work and fuels your perseverance. Daniel Pink emphasizes that aligning your actions with a broader mission is essential for fostering commitment, enthusiasm, and resilience. He highlights Tom's Shoes as a compelling example, where the company's one-for-one model connects profit with social impact. For every pair of shoes sold, a pair is donated to someone in need. This simple yet profound alignment of mission and values not only drives sales, but also inspires employees, customers, and partners by demonstrating how business can be a force for good. This principle aligns with Viktor Frankl's insights in Man's Search for Meaning, where he explores the human need for purpose, even, or especially, in the face of adversity. Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, observed that those who endured unimaginable suffering often did so by finding a sense of meaning in their lives. Whether through relationships, work, or ideals, purpose became their anchor and motivation. While most modern challenges pale in comparison to Frankl's experiences, his lesson remains universal. People thrive when their efforts connect to something greater than themselves. Cultivating purpose begins with asking why. Why do you do what you do? Why does your work matter? Whether leading a team, managing a business, or pursuing personal goals, answering these questions helps align your actions with a larger mission. Pink underscores that purpose is not just a lofty ideal, but a practical tool for driving performance and motivation. When people understand how their efforts contribute to a greater good, they are more likely to invest their energy and creativity in their work. Purpose provides a sense of direction, reminding you of what truly matters when distractions and challenges arise. Purpose also acts as a powerful motivator in the face of obstacles. Consider the story of Malala Yousafzai, who turned her personal tragedy into a global movement for girls' education. After surviving an assassination attempt for advocating education in Pakistan, Malala refused to be silenced. Instead, she used her platform to fight for a cause larger than herself, inspiring millions around the world. Her unwavering commitment to her purpose not only drove her personal recovery, but also created lasting change in communities worldwide. Malala's story illustrates how purpose provides the resilience needed to overcome even the most daunting challenges. For organizations, cultivating purpose involves aligning mission, values, and actions. Purpose-driven companies inspire employees by showing them that their work contributes to a meaningful goal. Pink highlights that this alignment is not about lofty slogans or vague ideals. It's about embedding purpose into the very fabric of what the organization does. Companies like Patagonia, which champions environmental sustainability, demonstrate how purpose can guide decision-making, from product design to supply chain practices. By living their mission, such organizations attract passionate employees and loyal customers who share their values. On a personal level, cultivating purpose requires reflection and intention. Pink encourages you to connect your daily efforts to a larger vision. Whether it's mentoring a colleague, improving a process, or creating something new, consider how your actions make a positive impact. Purpose doesn't always have to be grand. It can be found in small, meaningful contributions that ripple outward. The key is to recognize and value the ways in which your work serves others and aligns with your core values. To cultivate purpose within a team, start by communicating a clear and inspiring mission. Help team members see how their individual roles contribute to the broader goals of the organization. Encourage collaboration and highlight the collective impact of their efforts. When people feel part of something meaningful, they are more likely to bring their best selves to work. Celebrate milestones and successes as evidence of progress toward your shared mission, reinforcing the connection between effort and purpose. Purpose provides the fuel to overcome obstacles, sustain motivation, and achieve long-term success. It transforms work from a series of tasks into a meaningful journey. To cultivate purpose, always ask how your efforts serve a greater good. Connect your work to a mission that inspires you and others, and use that connection to guide your decisions, actions, and priorities. Purpose isn't just about what you do, it's about why you do it. When you lead with purpose, you create a sense of meaning that drives excellence and fosters lasting impact. Lesson 5. Embrace Type 1 behavior. Daniel Pink introduces the concept of Type 1 behavior, which is driven by intrinsic motivation, in contrast to Type X behavior, which relies on external rewards. Type 1 behavior thrives on the joy of the task itself, the satisfaction of progress, and the sense of purpose that comes from meaningful contributions. Pink highlights the story of Wikipedia, a platform that exemplifies the power of Type 1 behavior, built almost entirely by volunteers. Wikipedia became a global knowledge hub, not because its contributors were paid, but because they were motivated by the sheer joy of sharing knowledge and contributing to something larger than themselves. This stands in stark contrast to Microsoft Encarta, a traditional encyclopedia project that was reward-driven and ultimately failed to capture the same level of engagement or sustainability. Wikipedia's success and Encarta's failure underscore a fundamental truth about motivation. People are at their best when their work is fueled by internal drive rather than external incentives. Type 1 behavior flourishes when individuals feel empowered, challenged, and connected to a meaningful purpose. It taps into the innate human desire to learn, grow, and contribute. By contrast, Type X behavior, which depends on rewards like money, titles, or status, often produces short-term compliance but fails to inspire the deep engagement and creativity that lead to lasting success. To embrace Type 1 behavior, you must shift your focus from managing people's tasks to creating an environment where intrinsic motivation can take root. Pink emphasizes that this involves empowering individuals to take ownership of their work, encouraging them to explore their potential, and providing opportunities for meaningful engagement. When people feel they have autonomy and their efforts align with a greater purpose, they are naturally motivated to excel. This is not about abandoning rewards altogether, but about recognizing that intrinsic motivation must take precedence. One of the keys to fostering Type 1 behavior is empowerment. When you give people the freedom to make decisions and solve problems in their own way, you signal trust and respect for their abilities. This autonomy inspires a sense of ownership and pride in their work. For example, the software company Atlassian allows its employees FedEx days, a designated time to work on any project they choose, provided they deliver results within 24 hours. These bursts of autonomy have led to innovative solutions and breakthroughs that have transformed the company. Empowering people to explore their passions within a structured framework creates a fertile ground for Type 1 behavior to thrive. Another essential element is providing meaningful challenges. Pink explains that people are most engaged when their work pushes them just beyond their current skill level, requiring effort and creativity to succeed. This concept aligns with the idea of flow, as described by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Flow occurs when people are fully immersed in a task, experiencing a sense of focus and enjoyment as they stretch their abilities. Leaders who design work that challenges and engages their teams help them achieve this state of flow, fostering intrinsic motivation and exceptional performance. Connection to a larger purpose is the final pillar of Type 1 behavior. People are naturally motivated when they see how their efforts contribute to something meaningful. Consider Tesla's mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Employees at Tesla are driven not just by their roles, but by the broader impact of their work on the environment and the future of energy. This alignment between individual contributions and organizational purpose creates a sense of shared mission, inspiring employees to bring their best selves to their work every day. Recognizing and rewarding effort and progress is still important, but must be approached thoughtfully. Pink cautions that excessive reliance on rewards can undermine intrinsic motivation, turning what was once a labor of love into a transactional activity. Instead, focus on celebrating milestones, acknowledging growth, and providing constructive feedback that reinforces internal drive. When rewards are tied to effort and improvement rather than outcomes alone, they support rather than diminish intrinsic motivation. To embrace Type 1 behavior, create an environment where people feel empowered, challenged, and connected to a greater purpose. Encourage autonomy, design meaningful work, and align individual contributions with organizational goals. Recognize effort and progress, but let internal drive lead the way. When you prioritize intrinsic motivation, you unlock the creativity, engagement, and resilience that fuel lasting success. Type 1 behavior isn't just a strategy. It's the foundation of a thriving, purpose-driven culture. Lesson 6. Rethink rewards. Daniel Pink challenges the traditional reliance on extrinsic rewards, warning that they can often undermine intrinsic motivation and long-term performance. He recounts compelling studies that demonstrate this counterintuitive phenomenon. One such study examined financial incentives for blood donations and found that participation actually decreased when money was offered. What had once been an altruistic act, motivated by a sense of purpose and contribution, was devalued and transformed into a transactional exchange. This shift in perception stripped away the intrinsic satisfaction of helping others, proving that poorly applied rewards can distort behavior and diminish engagement. Pink's insights echo those of Alfie Kohn in Punished by Rewards, where Kohn argues that external incentives often reduce the quality of effort and narrow focus to the immediate reward rather than the broader purpose of the task. Rewards can create a transactional mindset, where people perform only to gain the external benefit, ignoring the inherent value or joy of the activity. This approach may yield short-term results, but it stifles creativity, diminishes engagement, and weakens the long-term commitment essential for sustained success. To rethink rewards effectively, you must evaluate whether your reliance on external incentives is inadvertently stifling the intrinsic drive of your team or yourself. Extrinsic rewards, such as bonuses, prizes, or promotions, can sometimes be necessary, but they should be used sparingly and strategically. When applied carelessly, these rewards risk overshadowing intrinsic motivators like curiosity, mastery, and purpose. Pink emphasizes the importance of designing rewards that support rather than replace intrinsic motivation, ensuring that they acknowledge contributions without dictating behavior. One strategy is to focus on non-contingent rewards. These are rewards given without preconditions or performance benchmarks, offered simply to recognize effort, celebrate milestones, or express appreciation. Unlike contingent rewards, which tie compensation directly to specific actions, non-contingent rewards maintain the integrity of intrinsic motivation. For example, a surprise thank you note, a team lunch, or public recognition of someone's contributions can reinforce a sense of value and belonging without creating dependency on external incentives. Consider the example of open-source software communities like Linux or WordPress. These platforms thrive because contributors are driven by intrinsic motivations, the satisfaction of solving challenging problems, the joy of collaboration, and the pride of creating something valuable for others. These communities demonstrate that when people are aligned with a meaningful purpose and given opportunities to grow and connect, they don't need monetary incentives to perform at their best. In fact, introducing financial rewards into such environments could diminish the intrinsic joy that fuels their success. When rewards are necessary, Pink suggests structuring them to emphasize opportunities for growth and connection. For instance, instead of offering a cash bonus for meeting a target, consider providing funding for professional development, access to mentorship, or the chance to work on a high-profile project. These types of rewards align with intrinsic motivators by supporting autonomy, mastery, and relatedness. They demonstrate a commitment to the individual's growth and long-term success, rather than simply offering a fleeting incentive. Rethinking rewards also requires creating an environment where the value of the work itself takes center stage. Encourage your team to reflect on the purpose and impact of their contributions. Help them see how their efforts align with the organization's mission and values. When people connect their work to something meaningful, they find motivation that far exceeds the pull of any external reward. Purpose-driven work fosters engagement, creativity, and resilience, providing a foundation for sustained excellence. It's important to recognize that rewards are not inherently bad, but their effectiveness depends on how and why they are used. When applied thoughtfully, they can amplify motivation and reinforce positive behaviors. However, when used carelessly, they risk reducing meaningful work to a mere transaction. Pink urges you to evaluate your reward systems critically, replacing superficial incentives with strategies that nurture intrinsic motivation and create opportunities for growth and connection. To rethink rewards, shift your focus from controlling behavior to fostering engagement and purpose. Use rewards sparingly and strategically, ensuring they complement rather than replace intrinsic motivation. Celebrate effort, recognize contributions, and provide opportunities for personal and professional growth. By aligning rewards with deeper values and aspirations, you create an environment where people thrive, not because they have to, but because they want to. True motivation comes not from what you give, but from the meaning and connection people find in their work. Lesson 7. Redesign education. The principles in Drive extend far beyond the workplace and into the realm of education, where traditional systems often rely heavily on grades, standardized tests, and external rewards to drive performance. Daniel Pink challenges these outdated practices, arguing that they can stifle intrinsic motivation, creativity, and a genuine love of learning. He highlights innovative models like Montessori schools, which prioritize self-directed learning, intrinsic curiosity, and mastery over rigid structures and rote memorization. Montessori education emphasizes giving students the freedom to explore their interests and learn at their own pace, fostering a sense of ownership and engagement in the process. This approach produces not just better learners, but more curious, confident, and capable individuals. Pink's advocacy for intrinsic motivation in education aligns closely with Carol Dweck's philosophy in mindset, which emphasizes the transformative power of cultivating a growth mindset. Dweck's research demonstrates that when students see learning as a journey of growth and mastery rather than a series of tests and rewards, they achieve higher levels of success. A growth mindset encourages learners to embrace challenges, persist through setbacks, and view effort as the path to improvement. These principles stand in stark contrast to traditional educational systems, which often reduce learning to a transactional process of earning grades and passing tests. Redesigning education starts with shifting the focus from compliance to curiosity. Traditional education often conditions students to follow instructions, complete assignments, and aim for high scores, leaving little room for exploration or creativity. Pink argues that this approach undermines intrinsic motivation by teaching students that learning is valuable only when it leads to external rewards. Instead, educators must create environments that ignite curiosity, encourage experimentation, and reward the process of discovery. When students are free to explore topics that interest them, they engage more deeply and develop a lifelong passion for learning. Consider the success of project-based learning models, where students work on real-world problems and pursue solutions that matter to them. Schools that adopt this approach report higher engagement and deeper learning outcomes. For example, High Tech High in California integrates project-based learning into its curriculum, allowing students to design, build, and present projects that reflect their unique interests and skills. By giving students the autonomy to choose their paths, schools like High Tech High foster a sense of purpose and ownership that is often missing in traditional education. Another key component of redesigning education is encouraging learners to set their own goals and take responsibility for their progress. Goal setting promotes a sense of agency and helps students see the connection between their efforts and outcomes. Educators can guide this process by helping students identify meaningful, attainable objectives and breaking them into manageable steps. This not only builds confidence, but also teaches students how to navigate challenges and persevere through obstacles. Feedback also plays a critical role in fostering intrinsic motivation in education. Traditional grading systems often reduce feedback to a single letter or number, which tells students little about their actual progress or areas for improvement. Pink suggests replacing these reductive measures with constructive feedback that focuses on effort, growth, and mastery. Specific, actionable feedback helps students understand their strengths and identify opportunities for development, reinforcing the idea that learning is a continuous journey rather than a fixed outcome. Creativity and exploration should be at the heart of any redesigned education system. When students are encouraged to experiment, take risks, and express themselves, they develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills that are essential for success in any field. Pink points to the value of integrating arts, sciences, and humanities into curricula that prioritize interdisciplinary learning. By connecting subjects and encouraging students to explore their relationships, educators can inspire a deeper understanding of the world and a greater appreciation for its complexity. Ultimately, education should be about more than passing tests or earning diplomas. It should ignite a lifelong passion for discovery and growth. Pink urges educators, parents, and policymakers to advocate for systems that prioritize curiosity, creativity, and mastery over compliance and standardization. By redesigning education to align with these principles, we can nurture learners who are not only more successful academically, but also more fulfilled and capable of contributing meaningfully to the world. Lesson 8. Adapt for the future. The future demands that you embrace intrinsic motivation to navigate an increasingly complex and unpredictable world. Daniel Pink underscores that organizations and individuals who prioritize autonomy, mastery, and purpose are best positioned to thrive in this new landscape. These intrinsic drivers fuel adaptability, resilience, and innovation, qualities that are essential when the pace of change renders the old rules obsolete. Pink's insights resonate with the themes in Clayton Christensen's The Innovator's Dilemma, which illustrates how success depends on the ability to evolve and challenge entrenched practices. Those who cling to past strategies and outdated models risk irrelevance, while those who foster a culture of learning and reinvention seize opportunities in the face of uncertainty. To adapt for the future, you must prepare yourself and your team to thrive in environments where the traditional playbook no longer applies. The rapid pace of technological advancements, shifting market dynamics, and global challenges require a mindset that embraces change rather than resists it. Pink emphasizes that intrinsic motivation, rooted in autonomy, mastery, and purpose, is the key to building this mindset. When people feel empowered to take initiative, continuously improve their skills, and contribute to meaningful goals, they become more capable of navigating uncertainty and driving progress. One of the most important elements of future readiness is fostering a culture that celebrates initiative. Organizations that encourage employees to act independently and take ownership of their work are more agile and innovative. Consider the example of Netflix, which has consistently reinvented itself to remain a dominant force in the entertainment industry. From its early days as a DVD rental service to its transition into streaming and original content, Netflix's culture of autonomy and empowerment has been central to its adaptability. By trusting employees to make decisions and experiment with bold ideas, Netflix has stayed ahead of industry disruptions and set new standards for success. Mastery is another critical component of future-proofing your organization. The world of tomorrow will require a workforce that is continually learning, improving, and expanding its capabilities. Pink emphasizes the importance of deliberate practice, where individuals and teams focus on specific, challenging goals that stretch their abilities. Leaders must create opportunities for skill development, provide constructive feedback, and reward the effort that drives growth. When mastery becomes a shared priority, organizations can harness the collective potential of their people to tackle emerging challenges and innovate at scale. Purpose ties these elements together by providing direction and meaning. In an unpredictable world, purpose serves as a compass, guiding decisions and actions even when the path forward is unclear. Pink highlights that organizations with a clear mission and strong values inspire greater commitment and engagement from their teams. Patagonia, for example, integrates environmental stewardship into every aspect of its business. This commitment to purpose not only drives customer loyalty, but also attracts employees who are deeply motivated to make a difference. Purpose aligns individual contributions with broader goals, creating a sense of shared responsibility and pride in the work. Christensen's The Innovator's Dilemma provides a cautionary tale for those who fail to adapt. Established companies often fall victim to their own success, relying on legacy products and processes that no longer meet evolving needs. By contrast, organizations that embrace change and invest in emerging opportunities are better equipped to thrive. The same principle applies to individuals. Clinging to old habits or resisting new skills limits your ability to grow. To stay relevant, you must cultivate a mindset that welcomes challenges and seeks out opportunities for reinvention. To adapt for the future, build a culture that rewards learning and experimentation. Encourage your team to take risks, learn from failures, and approach problems with curiosity and creativity. Recognize that adaptability is not just a skill, but a mindset, a willingness to embrace change and view uncertainty as an opportunity rather than a threat. By aligning motivation with the demands of the future, you can empower your team to succeed in an ever-changing world. The tools for success are within your control. Focus on autonomy to foster initiative, mastery to drive continuous improvement, and purpose to inspire meaningful contributions. When you align these intrinsic motivators with the challenges of the future, you create an environment where adaptability and innovation thrive. The future belongs to those who are willing to learn, grow, and redefine what is possible. Lead with intrinsic motivation, and you will build a foundation for success that stands the test of time. Conclusion. Drive by Daniel H. Pink challenges you to abandon outdated models of motivation and embrace a framework built on autonomy, mastery, and purpose. These principles empower you to tap into the deepest sources of drive, unlocking creativity, innovation, and sustained effort. From rethinking rewards to fostering environments that encourage intrinsic motivation, Pink equips you with the tools to transform how you lead, learn, and achieve. For further insights, explore Mindset by Carol Dweck or Start with Why by Simon Sinek. Always remember, the most powerful motivators come from within. Harness them, and there are no limits to what you can achieve. The end